What is up, everyone? On this video, I'm going to be going over my full upper body session. Essentially, 6 lifts, I believe. We'll see as I go through here, but basically one all-out set or close to all-out set per lift. Reason why I do this is just because frequency is a little bit higher, and I personally feel like I can get the most out of just doing one set per exercise right now. But again, do as many as you'd like. Personally, I recommend doing the least amount as possible that's still going to give you some results. But again, stuff like that, you're just going to have to figure it out on your own by going in the trenches and doing the work. So as you can see, first lift was that barbell bench. Did that for about 6 to 10 reps. And once I'm done with that, move on. And that's the only chest lift that I'll do in this session. And then after the chest lift, we move on to shoulders. So I'm doing the lying cable lateral raise here. Reason why I like to do these is because this will overload the delts in that mid and lengthen range, and then the load actually drops off in the shorten range. So compared to like a dumbbell lateral where it only loads the shorten range, the mid and lengthen range, you're actually a little bit stronger and you can produce a little bit more force. So that's why I opt for a cable lateral raise variation. And following suit, same thing here. I will be doing about 6 to 10 reps on these. Load is a little bit harder to progress, so generally I follow kind of a form or rep progression on these. But again, if load is there and I can increase load from the previous time I do these, then 100% I'm going to try and increase load. And then after shoulders are done, we actually move on to the back stuff. Now, in this particular session, I do want to bias the pulling muscles a little bit more. So I do intensifiers on the back lifts in this session. And essentially that just means I'm either doing, some type of rest pause set or a drop set, something along those lines. And on this particular lift, I actually did a drop set. I didn't film it, or I accidentally cut I cut that set off by accident, but you're just going to have to believe me that I did it. But I did do a drop set on these. And again, I'm sticking within that 6 to 10 rep range. On the drop set, I'll rest for about 5 seconds, really just to take off a weight and then go right back into the set. And on the drop, I'll try to get 3 to 5 reps, maybe more. Again, if you're taking your set pretty close to failure, you're probably only going to get another few reps. So that's totally fine. The idea there is just to push beyond failure a little bit more and then essentially get one more failure set in just for a few more effective reps. And after the rowing movement, so I'll do two back movements, one kind of rowing movement and then one pull down movement. And on the pull down, I generally don't pull it straight from overhead. It's a little bit more in front of me, just so I can bias the lats a little bit more. Pulling overhead is still going to work your lats, but again, if you pull from in front of you, it's just going to line up a little bit better. Don't worry about stuff like that too much, though. Just do whatever feels best for you, what you like, what feels comfortable, all that fun stuff. And again, as I said, this is a back intensifier session. So on these, I did a rest pause set. On the rest pause, I'll try to count my breaths more than anything. So I try to do like 10 deep breaths, which kind of come out to around 20 seconds or so. And very similar to the drop set, you're only going to get a few more reps. Again, maybe 3 to 5-ish. Doesn't really matter. The whole point, again, though, is just to get essentially another failure set in just for some more effective reps. So not too sure how many I did. I think I got 3, maybe 4. We'll see in a moment. But again, you're not going to get too many, and you shouldn't be getting too many. If you can get like 10, 12 plus, then it's either a really, really big drop set where you took off tons of load and you were just able to do that more, or maybe your working set wasn't really a working set. But again, figure that stuff out when you're getting in the gym and you're moving around, experimenting on your own. And after all the back work is done, so we've done chest, we've done shoulders, we've done upper back with the row, we've done some lats with the pull down, move on to the arm work. And on this particular session, I like the single arm tricep extension. It just lines up a little bit better in terms of the tricep, my elbow, shoulders, things like that. I could very easily just do a 2-arm tricep push down to save some time, but again, over time, as I start to progress lifts like those, I just notice it doesn't feel the greatest on my elbows. So if I do single arm stuff over time, as I progress them, it feels way better. So again, when you're in the gym and you're trying some stuff out, things that feel good on your body should be, in mind. And, just because a certain lift or exercise someone says is better than another, if it doesn't feel that good for you, then it's not better for you, right? So just keep that in mind. Not all lifts are going to feel the same for you, no matter, quote, how good they are on paper, unquote. You got to do what feels good for you. But again, these just feel better a little bit more longer term as I start to progress and get a little bit stronger within the training cycle. So yeah, go with what feels good. And on these, following suit with everything else, working in that 6 to 10-ish rep range, I'll either try to increase load or increase reps or even improve form over the course of a whole training cycle. But rep ranges on this probably won't change too much. If I feel like I can't increase something within that rep range, then maybe I'll change it up a little bit. But most of the times, you can really grind out a certain rep range for a little bit longer than you think. But again, if you do need to change that up a little bit, by all means, go ahead and change your rep ranges up over time. And same with all the other stuff in this session, even on the arm work, taking these as close to failure as I possibly can. And then moving on to bicep work to close out the session. Same thing as the back work. I'm considering this part of the pull muscle group, so I will be doing an intensifier on these in the form of a drop set. So work again in that 6 to 10-ish rep range, drop set immediately, change the weight stack, and go for another few more reps. Like I was saying earlier, on your drops, you're probably going to be getting around 3 to 5, maybe even upwards to 8 reps, just again, depending on how much weight you're actually dropping. So that's a big key with the drop sets, is really how much load you're taking off. So obviously, the less load you take off, the less reps you should be able to get. The more load you take off, the more reps you should be able to get. But again, doesn't really matter too much. Just go based on what feels best for you, what's going to produce the most results. I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I'm getting anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. I consider that kind of like middle rep range. But again, point is just to essentially create another failure point in the session. And yeah, this is a full upper body session that I have right now. In total, this session probably takes me around 40-ish minutes, which works really well for me. I don't want to spend tons of time in the gym. I want to get in there. I want to get the best work that I can get done. And so again, that's a big part of the reason why I'm doing very, very low volume at this point in time. So